Hi everyone, it's Kathleen from Treesisters, and this is Creative Interviews. And today we are here with Riitta, Susanna, Klint. And Riitta and I have been talking for quite a while. She's been a Treesister for quite a while. She's an artist partner with Treesisters, and we're both really excited to come together again and be able to share you and her with her work with all of you and inspire you. So I'm going to say hello, first of all, to Riitta. Hi, Riitta.
Hello.
And I'm just going to quickly just read a bit of Riitta's bio so you can get an idea of what the work she's done. And then we'll come back and we'll have really some good conversation. So, so Riitta is currently in Fort Worth, Texas, right? But you are from Helsinki, Finland, and you go between the two places is a lifetime of traveling of the world in your father's career with IBM, bringing you living in native Finland, as well as Iran, Portugal, Indonesia, Germany, Mexico, and the US.
Yes.
Together with an extensive travel in Asia and Europe. And this is what's, sort of shaped your unique vision and your palette, which I love that you say your palette, and, because that's such a deeper level of, bringing into our work. And you offer the viewers a front seat to that journey and a threshold to cross over into their own imagination, which I really can't wait till we can talk a little bit more about that. You have a lot, of experience and education, a bachelor's in fashion design and textiles from University of Texas. You worked in human resources as a director for a well-known restaurant chain, and you have all of these connections with the people and the places that you've been in have just really informed you that you're first and foremost wanted to step into being an artist, and that was your true calling and your purpose, and all the different things that come together with that, of course. And so you took art classes in the evenings. I just love, I think that's such an inspiration to share with people who, they don't know really what the journey of the artist always looks like. But, yeah, it starts in the evenings. It starts, kind of just making that choice and starting where you're at. And then spending hours in galleries and museums, feeding your true passion. Love that. And after moving to Florida in 1999, you went back to school and received your Bachelor's of Fine Arts from Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton, Florida. And you finally realized your dream. And this is the part that I love a lot. I took a chance, left my job, and never looked back.
Exactly. Giant leap of faith.
Amazing, amazing. So there's so many different shows that you've been a part of. You've been represented in 7 different galleries across the US, including some big names, Arts on Douglas in New Smyrna, the Witt Gallery in Lenox, Massachusetts, and the Winter Gallery in Fort Worth, Texas, Museum of Arts and Science in Daytona Beach. And let's see what else there's just so much here, so many places. Pinnacle Housing Groups, Visa Mar Building, Miami, Fisher Island Links Golf Club, Geller Design, and you completed commission artworks for the Mandarin Oriental in, I'm not going to say that right, Riyadh in Saudi Arabia.
Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. And and currently I guess your last exhibition is called Ethereal, which we'll also get into, is in a Smithsonian connected museum.
Yeah, it's over now, but I had 3 months solo show at it's a Museum of Arts and Sciences, and it's a Smithsonian affiliated museum in Daytona Beach.
Yeah, so the message here with this for me, like for going through and reading the list of the work that where your work, how your work has begun and seeded and grown in you, but also where you've shared it. The message for me is like, oh, what we're about to talk about, now we can kind of get an idea of how it's being brought out into the world, and what now we'll come back to like what it really means and what is this intention that you are bringing forward. I know that you work with acrylic and pencil and clay board, which we can talk about. Kaoling from the clay that you use on that is used on the panels, which I love. And also, you know, just where this comes from in you, inspired, of course, by nature, which most creative, you know, artists are, but I think that you take it to a different level by actually really communicating and listening within your work, and speaking to you know, what is going on in the world right now. And there's the sadness and grief that we're all experiencing, and your messages to hold space for that, but also just to, you know, kind of bring the vibration of all that a little bit, so that the memory isn't put to the side. So I'm going to open it up for you now on that word. You know, just speak into what it is. What is your work and your expression that you're bringing forward?
Well, you know, when I first started, I struggled a lot with what my vision was. And, you know, I spent a couple years trying everything. I did figural stuff, still life, this and that, until one day I had a breakthrough painting because it was intuitive and organic. And so it was like, all of a sudden, this whole world opened up to me, that there was no limit as to what I could create from that. And so, yeah, I mean, I went back into my studio and I spent 2 years, and I did not go to museums. I didn't look at anyone else's work at all.
Right.
I didn't want to be influenced. I didn't want to be worried about if my work was good or whatever.
No comparing.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, and so after that 2 years, I really saw that my vision was nature. But I would make up landscapes, or I would make like hybrid landscapes of all these countries that I'd lived in. So you'll see a lot of Southeast Asia influences in a lot of my work, and you'll see a lot of the, you know, the quiet colors of Finland, you know, with lots of greens and the water and stuff like that. So that's what inspires me. It's like, you know, people ask me what's my muse or something. It's really my own work.
Right. It's experiential of what's happening.
Right. So it's the last piece it's always the last piece I created that becomes the muse for the follow.
The next. Like the work, I know as we're listening to you, everyone's looking at the work behind you of Gemini, right? That's the title. And so if you want to explain a little bit about that, so because we're all looking at it as you're speaking.
Yeah, and so to me, like that, because I feel like we as humans we're not separate from nature. We are part of it. And if we would just learn to listen, you know, listen to the trees, listen to what's around you. And that's why you'll see figures, but they sort of blend right into, like they are an organic plant of sorts. So you'll see the flowers and, you know, how their hair is intertwined, and like, I don't know, it's that we are not separate.
Right, we are not separate, and when you're saying that, you know, it's like you're searching for the words. I can feel you searching for the words, but like there are none. And what comes through is the expression that can be ingested through looking at your work. And we will look at. I'm just letting everybody know, we will bring up, you know, some pictures of this piece, and I believe I have this piece on here, and also others. But right now we're just sort of diving into a little bit about, you know, this process of basically, it feels like in communication with the land of the places that you've been, and what's your place, how, you know, how you feel connected to it.
Right, and I feel more connected to nature sometimes than I do to other people. And growing up in all these countries, and you know, where you get to spend maybe 2 or 3 years in one place and you make friends there, and then you move and you have to restart that process. And it
Yeah.
kind of, there's actually a term coined for that, third culture kid. So
Oh,
I'm at home everywhere, but I really have no home. You know, so
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I'm very connected with some of the uh, friends that I grew up with, especially from Indonesia, because I was in my teenage years, and that's kind of when you sort of feel like these friends are going to be mine forever,
Forever.
and blah blah blah. Yeah, and it turns out that they are, and I
Yeah.
see them all the time, and we have such a understanding of each other because they feel the same way. So,
Wonderful. Are a lot of them also artists, or how do they express their
oh,
style?
they're in all kinds of careers. I
Mhm,
mean,
mhm, mhm.
yeah,
But they're all
I'm a
connected
little
to
bit
the
of a,
lab.
I'm a little bit of, I took that leap of faith, and you know, a
Yeah.
lot of people, they're like, "Wow, you just did it." And I
You
said, "Well,
just left a
I just left."
really good career, and can you
Yeah, so
tell
like,
us
I don't
about
need this
that?
401k. I don't need this, you know, blah blah blah.
Ah, yeah. What did that
Yeah,
feel like for you? You know, leaving something, it must be so scary. It took a lot of trust.
it took a lot of trust. My father was like, "Are you crazy? Have you completely lost your mind?" Well, maybe so, but
Yeah.
yeah. But I also didn't have to buy any more suits and things for work. You
Right,
know?
right.
So I
Well, it
basically
changed your
literally,
life completely, right? From what
yeah.
you used to wear to what you used to, think about and put your energy into. And thank you for making that brave
It's one of the
choice.
hardest. It's a hard career to pick because it's really all up to you. My success is up to me every day. I can choose to go to work or I can choose not to. So it's like
Right.
you have
And
to.
what is feeding you? What do you feel is supporting you, even though it's only you? But is it that, what do you find in nature that, do you find that support there for yourself?
Oh yes, I mean just taking a walk,
Yeah.
being quiet, and
Mm,
just absorbing and just noticing things.
mm,
People kind of drive by and they don't notice the tree that's so beautiful right there, or
yeah.
it's just they take it for granted.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just thinking of, like slow food, and how
Right,
people don't slow down enough, and just the slow noticing and slow witnessing, right? Of nature.
right. Everyone's always in a hurry to go somewhere,
Yeah.
and we're just not living every moment. You
Yeah,
know,
and it's hard to change that within ourselves, as well. Like we're so programmed into that rushing,
very much so. Yeah.
so, but when I'm sure when you're, and I got to talk to you one time when you were in your studio, and I'm sure when you're there that time stands still, and
Yes, it's
this is.
very, yeah. It's totally my happy place. And it is a sanctuary, and it turns out it happens that it's a warehouse type thing, and I have a garage door,
Yeah,
and behind when I open that, it's not a paved street, it's trees.
it's trees. Yeah, I remember. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
yeah, which is so great. Um,
I
so
just think, like, see what happens when we say yes, when we jump off the edge like you did,
mhm,
and you say yes, and everything kind of comes up right around you to support you. I mean, who has a garage door that opens up into the forest? And that's not
I know
common.
it's great. And, occasionally a couple kids run by, which always makes me happy. Or a couple times, there's this dog. I have no idea what his name is, where it belongs, but
Oh,
he comes into my studio, drinks water, and then takes a nap, and
really?
then just gets up and leaves.
Feels so at home with you.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Oh
so
my
great.
gosh. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. I'm sure once in a while a bird flies in, right? Or,
Oh yeah. Now that's kind of freaky because I'm like, please, trying
mm,
to guide them out.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
because you want them to be safe and not run into the windows. I've had a bird in my house before, so I know they can hurt themselves trying to get out, and
yes,
it's
exactly.
tricky.
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
Wow. Well, let's talk a little bit about the materials that you landed with. It seems to be what all, all you work with now. And can
Right.
you describe how that mimics the, the nature's ecosystem?
Right. Well, I used to paint on canvas, and when I discovered this clay board, it was through class. One of my classes, they introduced us to all kinds of different things, and I first tried it, and it it's so organic, And when I put my first thin layers of paint, I saw how it absorbed into the clay
Mm.
and created its own beauty right away. And so that's how I start my work. And I use acrylic because it dries quickly. Oil, I don't have the patience. I don't. So,
Mhm.
but I found that these thin washes that I start with, and I just kind of manipulate, the panel. I turn it this way, that way, and I just look at the paint, and then I
Yeah,
start seeing things, and that's how it's. I start seeing things. I'm like, oh, look, here's a beautiful leaf, and here's
right.
it's already there for me.
Yeah, you're
And then,
guided by your intuition and you allow
yeah,
that to
and
come
then
through.
I'll see something in there, and then I start bringing that out,
Hmm.
and then I use the pencil to actually outline that part of the painting that I really like.
That you see, yeah.
Yeah, and then I might white out the rest of it that I don't like and start with another layer, and
Hmm.
eventually it just comes together. And
Yeah.
and then I finish it always off with a pencil, really highlighting areas that I want.
Mhm. Yeah, it's such a beautiful blending of techniques and very organic, like you say, and the fact that you're using, the clay underneath, I
Mhm.
think I've told you before, I use pigments and the clay is similar in that it brings nature into the work to work with you. So you're kind of having this dance with nature. And I love
Exactly.
how you describe it,
Yeah.
how the clay soaks it up. It does the same in nature, and it's the minerals and crystals that are in it react to certain things, and you're probably having a blast. Like I told you I want to come and play with you because
Yeah, it's so
yeah,
fun. And when I do host people in the studio, they have such a good time. You
such
know.
a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can your energy and the energy of, just watching for what's the next thing, what's the next reaction, and how does this experiment going to show itself. And I know also that you connect a lot to spirit in this way,
Hmm. Oh
and
yeah.
expressing that for yourself. And
Right. I mean, I do find a spirituality in it, um,
mm,
because it's like just connecting with the universe, which is powerful.
yeah.
And yeah, so I just create a little microcosm of it in my painting.
I love that. You're like, oh, yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's amazing. And what do you think, before you're going to show your work in a minute here, because I'm sure everybody is just thrilled to see it, just to really see it. But I
Mhm.
want to also hear, like, when you started bringing this out into the world, and what was, how was it received, and what did you feel may have shifted because of your work, or at least, still shifting, um, because you're not just doing this for yourself, you're doing it for a purpose, to
Right.
bring it to the world. And so what can you say about that?
Well, what I'm thinking about, how others react, or yeah,
Yeah, yeah, both, like you're bringing something, and then what have you seen that the effect is of that?
right. I find that people do get involved with my work, and they will stare at it for a long time because they'll see things in it that I haven't even seen.
Mm,
I usually don't title my work as anything specifically making someone think it's something.
yeah,
You know?
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, and so I just kind of let people's imagination, your own experience defines what you see.
right, right.
So I find that I give people that without telling them what it is. So
Yeah, do you give them a permission to experience from their own
correct.
perspective, rather than to be told what they should be seeing in this piece of art, or what it should be making them feel? Or that's an amazing, invitation.
Yeah, it is,
And
and
you can continue. I'm like, I look at you, and then I look back at your work, and at the face and the necks and what's going on in her shoulder, or how she's holding the leaf in her mouth. And there's just a world an
Right.
absolute world of
Mhm.
information coming through, just like in nature, actually. I remember the first painting I saw of yours was Gaia's Wedding. Was it, is that the name, the title of it?
Yeah, and that was the title of a solo show I had a couple years
Yeah,
ago.
I'm not even sure if I have that one to show everybody, but that one alone, like the idea of it was you know, just this relationship that, you know, that we think of weddings and we think
Mhm.
of, you know, those type of things, but taking it to a new level, understanding that, you know, that
Right.
um earth is and a living being that
Yeah.
is having relationship with us, that we, you know, and that she does dress up for us. I mean, I get chills when I think
Yeah.
about that, and I think,
I
you
think you
know,
actually
that's
have one panel of Gaia's wedding in there. It's her
okay,
painting.
good. I'm gonna bring it up then. And yeah, I know that's why I reached out to you. I'm like, I think you might want to become an artist partner because I
Yeah.
feel what you are doing here. All right, so I don't know. I don't really have them in any. Oh, I don't have it shared yet. Hold on 1 minute. Hmm, yeah, technical love. Gotta love it. All
Mhm.
right. So do you see my screen now?
Yes. So
Okay.
this is titled Aria. So, you know, from the musical sense, because I feel like this tree's joyously singing, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And so,
Yeah, I do feel that movement and the music of it. And
mhm.
is this a tree that you've befriended, or is this one that came through the clay
it,
and the
it
paint?
just came as I was working, and because I will naturally see trees in everything I start. So I love to bring them out. So I have a whole series of tree paintings, which I don't know. To me, that's an endless source of inspiration. And I make up my own trees. I make up
Yeah.
flowers. I make up things that I just make them up.
Yeah, and I love what you said at the beginning, you know, that you always see trees in every painting. I mean, that's just, you know, and and you don't just see trees as like a, you know, a straight tree growing, but there's so much life and you know, twisted relationship in this tree, for instance.
Exactly. And you know, I'm showing you what's going on underground too. You know.
Right, always showing the roots and the
Mhm.
forest floor that we're all connected through.
Right.
Very beautiful. All
Thank
right,
you.
I'm going on to the, and how big is this one? Just so we get like an
This is
idea too of the size.
uh, 36 by 48.
Yeah,
So
so
3 by
that's,
4.
you know, 4 feet by 3 feet. That's impressive. It takes you over if you see it in person, that
Mhm.
size. And now this one's even bigger, obviously a
Oh
triptych.
yeah, and this is one of I included it because it's one of my earlier works when
Okay.
I had that breakthrough with the clay board.
Yeah, I
And
see that.
yeah, so this is like multiple layers. Like you know, there's one layer of trees and things up here, but then we see sort of through into the earth, and then
Yeah.
there's like another trees down here in the bottom and flowers.
Mhm.
So it became like a dreamscape to me, and I thought that's what landscapes are. They're dreamscapes. And so
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I see like, you know, the reflection that of, you know, what the water would normally be reflecting, but then there's also this like, you know, transparency to
yeah, it's
everything.
transparent. And it's kind of like someone told me that they see this kind of as a Middle Earth kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, and so this was one of your first ones where you're like, ooh, you're probably like really taken on a journey while you were doing this one. And what are the size of
Okay,
the,
this is 3. It's a triptych, and it's 6 feet
yeah,
by 3 feet. Yeah.
wow. Yeah, and
Yeah.
absolutely, you know, in person, I just always I want to be with them, you know.
I know. And this is from Gaia's wedding, and
Yes,
yeah, so you know she's.
so beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
And I know some of these, you know, these colors are also, there's meaning for you with the colors that you use besides the green, of course.
Yeah, which is my favorite, as you can probably tell.
Yes.
Yeah, and I like subtleties in color. I never just put something straight out of the tube. It's always mixed
Mm-hmm.
something else because I like to bring down the noise of it, I guess.
Mm.
So
And I see that, like, again, the transparency and the overlay and the depth within, like, to look within, and you know,
yeah.
once you see one, you just follow that every time you see the next one. And what would you, you know, what would you say was coming through you with Gaia's wedding? What was happening in your heart and in your
I,
thought process?
yeah, I think it was just looking at tumultuous times that that were going on at the time. Uh, I don't know, people. What I was trying to convey is that we are married to the earth, and here she is to remind us, how to stop and take a breath, enjoy it. Yeah, now you blew it up. You'll see all that stuff in there, and I think I was just trying to communicate to other people that we have to take the time to connect. And so the only way I could do it at the time, it just came to me. Oh, it's like a giant wedding. So yeah,
Us celebrating our connection.
yeah.
Yeah, I could get lost there, but we're going to move on to the next one. It's like each one is a portal. All right. Oh, this one I hadn't seen before this time.
Yeah, and this is it's the language of trees, because I started studying how trees communicate and how they take care of each other as a community, and how they will warn each other. Let's say there's some kind of insect attack or something, they will warn the other trees, and then those trees will maybe output some kind of scent or something to keep, to protect themselves. I think I started reading, it was acacia trees in Africa that the giraffes eat the leaves.
Yeah.
And then that tree will send out a signal to the others saying, oh, the giraffes are coming. Yeah. And they will emit like a toxin almost to keep that from happening. So, and how their root systems are interconnected, and they take care of each other. And that's what I wish people would do.
Oh, yeah. Well, people are taking in and breathing in your work, and that's a way of letting your energy come through, and people can sit here, I mean, and feel it. I mean, there's a feeling to, you hear the title, but
Right.
there's also this, you can see the communication happening,
Right.
the way they leaning into each other.
Right.
I love where you brought in some of these, kind of indigo, blue colors here and there.
Yeah.
It shows, like, it could be there's, maybe there's some other actions going on. There are other creatures that are,
Oh yeah, and if you actually see one in person, you will see things in there, birds and things. And
oh, okay. I see, that makes me want to get closer. And these are good photographs. I can get really close with them. So, but there's a certain megapixel that doesn't show you quite enough what you would in person. Ooh, beautiful. All right. And this you call the nest, right? Like the Treesisters nest community.
Yeah, that's what I thought of when I finally completed this. I'm like, what? It's almost like going inside the womb, and it's a safe place, but it's also mysterious, and we don't really quite understand it, but I love how it turned out. This piece is one of my absolute favorites that I've ever done. So I look at it all the time for more inspiration.
Yeah, I think that This one for me is also the same. There's this like maybe a deeper depth that you're going to, like even in the first ones you were going in, you know, into this transparency, but now it's inviting us to come in even deeper. You can see like where it's kind of ripping away. It almost looks like what the structure was, or the map was, and then now what's really under the surface when we really tune in is absolutely it's absolutely gorgeous. First of all, I mean, of course, you know, the colors and how they're combined and flow with each other, but there's so much mystery that's actually being revealed here.
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh yeah,
I love this one. And this one's won awards and stuff, so I did good.
Of course. Oh my goodness. Is there, do you have something written up about it? Like that maybe we could share or something, because I know that I could feel how deep this one was for you.
I probably have something somewhere that I'll send you.
Okay.
You know, what I've written about these things.
Yeah. And what awards has it won?
Oh, there's like a couple of organizations, and it's been a couple of years, so I can't remember the exact name, but you know, I will apply for grants and I will apply for contests and stuff like that. And so occasionally I hit one, and you know, and I get some accolades, and you know, they'll get published somewhere. You know.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful thing, you know, to find your way around and to, you know, to be understood, I think, you know, is the thing, and for this to be seen in whatever way that it's taken in, you know. But yeah, congratulations for that, but also, you know, just what that means to our planet right now at this time, and the difference that it can actually make for people to tune in from this perspective that you are holding and actively enjoying, which, you know, also shows the passion is where it's at, you know, like when you enjoy your work, right? That's where we're at. Well, my goodness, I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of other things, and there's a beautiful video that you made and all of that on your website that I'm going to share with this video. So there's just a couple of questions, direct kind of questions that I like to ask everybody that I do this with. And it's called a creative interview for a reason, because I'm really trying to, you know, you could probably notice it's kind of like your description of your work. I want to keep seeing inside. So what would you say is the deepest purpose of your art?
It's to create solace and place for people to rest, you know, and stop for a while. That's why I call it like the threshold. Like step in, you know, just step inside and stay a while, you know.
Right, giving people a place for solace, and you know, oh my God.
Yeah, I talk about, you know, there's a continuing conversation. I get this from my most recent painting that I sold just to a neighbor down the hall. Basically bought it right off the top of my couch. You know, 8 foot piece, and he's like, "Is that for sale?" I said, "Everything in here, everything here is for sale."
Even me, no.
Yeah, I know. But he said that exactly describes. He said, I wake up every morning, I look at this, and I see something else.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why it's a continuing conversation.
Continuing conversation, and allowing people to have a place of solace. It's really beautiful. And okay, do you feel fully expressed? I think I already know what you're going to say here. Do you feel fully expressed?
Well, I think it's always an evolving thing. I do feel pretty much fully expressed, but what I would do, I would like to create something really huge. So it becomes larger than life. So my whole dream is to create like an installation view
Yeah.
of large pieces, and then have sculptural elements along. So if I could create my own solo show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's this paper that I use also. It's called Yupo paper. It's not initially even meant for artist purposes. I forget now what it was, but they have a translucent paper, and I paint on that, and you can see through it. So I would envision having like a forest of these hanging,
Yes.
all the papers with, and so to create like a luminescent landscape for people to walk through. So that would be
yes. Well, set
that
the
would be my next
intention.
thing that I really want to do.
Yeah. Well, everyone
And like I
listening.
said, it's so organic, and I said there's no limit. I
Right.
don't ever feel like, oh, I've reached the end of my imagination. Because
Yeah, I knew that's what you were going to say. I knew, the general gist would be that yes, you feel fully expressed, but no, you're not done. You're evolving, and I'm really glad that you shared that vision for the future work with us, because now everyone listening can hold that with you, and hold that intention with you. And what I saw, which may not make any sense at all, but I always have to say what comes in me intuitively, that I see this hanging in an actual forest.
Yeah.
And, it may be a temporary sort of installation, but that's what I saw was,
Right.
these pieces of beautiful, parchment paper, like looking into and looking out of the actual forest. So just put that in there. And then what is my next thing is, we already talked about, how do you connect with nature in your landscapes, and that is your muse. So the two more questions. One is, what drew you to become a Treesister, and how do you feel that aligned with what is aligning with what you do?
Oh, it seemed like a perfect fit when I discovered. I don't really remember how we connected. If you contacted me, or maybe I shared a piece of art on your site.
Yeah,
and
I don't remember, to be honest.
The whole message was like, I feel like I can contribute to this vision.
Yeah, I think it was the Gaia's wedding, and you may have shared it in the Welcoming Circle Facebook group. I would have to look back.
I did that 3 years ago, I think. Probably,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay, so it wouldn't have been there, but we'll figure it out. But it doesn't matter, because it's sort of a natural fit, like you said, a natural fit. And then the last question is, based on your personal journey, what wisdom or encouragement would you have for others on this path?
Right. Just to know that it takes courage to continue, and to not let your fear control that, and don't worry about other people's opinions. Just do what you love, and it'll evolve by itself. And trust yourself, because if you start worrying, like, oh my God, is that person gonna like this, or blah blah blah? Because in that part of it, I paint for myself.
There you go.
Yeah, and even when I do a commission piece, which that's how I can make a living a lot of times, is doing commission pieces. Even then I paint for myself, but I'm following whatever guidelines that they have given me as far as color and stuff like that. But it really does, I'm not saying everyone should be like me and quit their career, but if it is your passion, then yeah, you do it in the evening, or you do it on a weekend, or you get up super early in the morning and you feed your passion that way.
Feed your passion, yeah.
And then always carry a journal, a sketchbook.
Yeah.
And I take pictures of all kinds of things. Even if I go to a public restroom in a restaurant, they have beautiful marble in there. I'll see trees in there, and I'm taking photographs in there. People are like, what are you doing in there? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll be right out. But yeah, and it just takes years. I mean, I've been doing this now for 22 years or so. Yeah. And, and then I had that museum show, And it just made me, people like, oh, wow, you're so cool. That's so good. And I'm like, you know, it took 20 years to become an overnight success.
It's a long night.
Yeah, exactly. But it's really just to trust yourself and experiment. There are no mistakes.
There are no mistakes. Perfect. That's spoken like a true tree sister.
There are no mistakes. Sometimes when I do think, oh my gosh, I just put that paint right there, I spilled something on there, and I'm going, oh, this is a perfect mistake.
Ooh, the perfect mistake. Yes, yes. It's a portal, right? I love that.
And just to have fun. You know, it should be fun.
Yeah.
This short lifetime that we have, you know,
yeah, absolutely. You got to enjoy it. And I think that everyone watching this gets that from you, gets that energy. And now, like me, all wants to join you in your, you know, big storage locker and open up the garage door and just be playing with you and listening. And
oh, I wish you could come. Oh, it's great. It's a great space. I have a friend of mine now who's sharing space with me, although, you know, she's got a full-time career, but she comes, you know, on the weekend or whenever she can. And wonderful. And we share, she's from Iceland, I'm from Finland. So we have already a common understanding of being Nordic, you know.
Right.
And it's like we can both be quiet. I find so many people have to fill space. Idle chatter when it doesn't really matter. And like Finnish people are known for being very few words. Yeah. So although I've, you know, lived everywhere, so I can talk up a storm, but
I was going to say thank you for sharing all your words with us because I know they're precious.
I know, oh, believe me, the first time I had an artist talk in 2011, I thought I was going to throw up. I mean, I was so intimidated. I came out in this gallery and there's all these people in these chairs, like a classroom. I'm like, oh no. You know,
it's intimidating.
I had all my notes. I had like all my notes.
And none of it mattered, right?
None of it mattered because I just started talking. Naturally, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta just like kind of step into your authority and trust yourself in those moments, right? And
and connect with like-minded people and take classes. You know, and go back to school for, you know, you can take night classes, you can do all kinds of things and study a subject maybe that's not even art. Like I became so passionate about studying sociology. You know, and it just made me connect and understand people more.
Yes, absolutely. It's all intertwined. We're all intertwined, just like your painting says, and there's more in each thing than we realize. You know, that's what I'm each thing that we're looking at, and to slow down and look closer and deeper. And, you know, thank you for all of your inspiration that you are and that you shared with us today, and that you continue to share with us. And you know, this is what it's all about. And you know, inspiring our creative community that you are part of, and you are part of, you know, the forest floor with Treesisters, and you're planting trees with your work, and God knows all the other amazing things that are happening and being inspired through the ripple effect of that invitation that you've invited people in to stop and take solace and to take time to listen. Thank you so much.
Joy in it, you know, which is the best. I'm always.
You're a joyful soul. You can't, no one could deny that. Thank you so much, Riitta.
Thank you.